Oh, and there's our 5-star. What's up, travelers? SummationKid here. In this video, I'm going to explain everything you need to know about Genshin Impact's banner system, or wish system as they call it in the game. So basically, there are 3 types of banners. You have the standard banner, this one. You have the limited time character event banners, and you have the limited time weapon banner. So jumping right in, we'll start with the standard banner. This one is pretty, well, standard. Every 10 wishes you will get a 4-star character or weapon, and every 90 wishes you will get a 5-star character or weapon. So this is their explanation if you want to read it. Now there is one thing they don't tell you here, which is that in addition to the 90 attempts guarantee, once you get to 75, the chance of getting a 5-star character or weapon will skyrocket to about 30%, right? From 0.6% to 30%. And as you go from 75 to 90, that 30% will go to 100. So you are guaranteed a 5-star character or weapon from the standard banner every 90 times, but most people get it between 75 and 80, just due to how the math works, I guess. So that's the standard banner. It's pretty straightforward. Next, we have the character event banners. So these two, they are limited time, so they only appear for about 3 weeks or 20 days. They do come back, so characters do rerun. They do come back, so you don't need to worry if you didn't get your character. And these work a little bit different from the standard banner. So the pity counters are still there. The chances of getting a 5-star character are still there. So all that stuff is the same. But due to the fact that these banners go away, what happens is that your so-called pity counter will carry over. So once these banners are over, so right now it's about 7 days. When you're watching the video, it'll be different. But right now it's about 7 days. So when the Wanderer and Kokomi go away and new characters come, whatever your pity counter was at, it'll be at that for the new banner as well. So your progress, I guess you can think of it as, does carry over. Now there is one more thing you need to know about these two banners, these character banners, which is that the first time you get a 5-star item from them, there's only a 50% chance that it'll actually be the character depicted on the banner. And then you have another 50% chance of getting some random thing from the standard banner. So Mona, Kaching, Chi-Chi. There's 2 characters not depicted here. There's Diluc and Jean. 3 characters. There's also Tainari. Or you could get one of these weapons or another weapon that's not shown here. The point is that the first 5-star thing you get from these 2 banners, right, from any character event banner, might not actually be the character. There's a 50% chance of getting something from the standard banner pool. Now, if that does happen to you, right, if you lose the 50-50, then the next 5-star item you get from a limited time character banner will indeed be the character on the banner. I guess I should also go through an example just to make things clearer. So let's say that you're going for this little dude here. He actually is a little dude. But anyway, let's say you're going for the Wanderer, right? And then after either 1 or 90 or 57, however many pulls, however many wishes, you get a 5-star item from his banner. Now let's say that you lose the 50-50, and instead of getting this guy, you get some random item from this pool here. So it could be a character, it could be a weapon, something from the Wanderlust Invocation banner pool. Now, after that, the next time you get a 5-star item from any character event banner, so it could be the Wanderer's banner if you decide to keep going for him, or it could be Kokomi, or it could be the next characters. The next time you get a 5-star item, it will be the character that's on the character banner. Okay, so now let's rewind a bit and I'll explain the alternative scenario. So let's say you're going for this guy, right? And then after, again, however many pulls, could be 1, could be 90, could be 25, could be 75, whatever. So you get a 5-star item, and it does actually happen to be this guy, the Wanderer. Now what happens is that the next 5-star item you get from any character event banner, again, has a 50% chance of being the character on the banner, and a 50% chance of being something from this pool, so from the standard banner pool. Basically, you can go on a sort of winning streak and just keep getting whatever character is on the banner every time you get a 5-star from the banner. Or alternatively, you might get unlucky, and instead of getting whatever character is on the banner, you'll get something from the standard pool. But if you do get unlucky, the next time you'll be guaranteed to get the character on the banner when you get a 5-star item from said banner. So it's a little bit of a complicated system, but once you do understand it, it's really not that bad. And assuming I made this video well enough, you should understand it by now. So let's move on to the weapon banner. Now this one is a little bit different. By the way, before I explain it, I'll just say that I highly recommend any new players avoid this banner like the plague. Basically, whatever weapons are featured on it, unless both of the weapons are extremely good. But that rarely happens. I think that's happened like maybe 2 or 3 times ever since the game released like 3 years ago. So the way that this banner works is kind of similar to the character banners, right, in the sense that you have a soft pity and a hard pity, except they are at 65 and 80 respectively instead of 75 and 90. So that's the good news. The other good news is that there is, instead of a 50% chance, there's a 75% chance that you will get one of the 2 featured 5-star weapons. So unlike the character banners, where they had their own banner for each one, for the weapon banner, they are both on the banner, and there's only one banner. So how this works is that, assuming you win the 75% chance, so it's not a 50-50 anymore, it's a 75-25, but assuming you win that and you get one of these 2 weapons, then there's a 50% chance of either weapon being the one that you get. So it's kind of different, yeah. There's basically effectively a 37.5% chance that you'll get one of these, or rather, you know, the one that you want, whenever you get a 5-star on this banner. And of course, the other 25% chance is that you get a random character or weapon from this pool, once again. Now, I know what you're thinking. Let's say that you want this here, the donut, Kokomi's weapon, but let's say you keep getting the bell each and every time. Well, they did build a failsafe. Well, I guess it's sort of a failsafe, kind of like a safety net. By the way, this wasn't here initially, so you can imagine how terrible the weapon banner was. But how this works is that basically you chart a course, right? So you have these 2 weapons, and then you pick one of them, and you click chart course. And what happens is that you have, see this fate point counter here, right? 0 out of 2. Every time you get a 5-star weapon from the weapon banner, and it is one of the ones on the banner, but it's not the one you picked here, then you get 1 fate point. So as you can see, after 2 fate points, then the next 5-star item you get on the weapon banner that is one of these 2 will be the one that you selected here. That's how it works. So as you can see, there are a lot more hoops you have to jump through to get what you want compared to the character banner, right? First, you have to win the 75-25, which isn't too hard, but then you have to win another 50-50 after that 75-25. So your chances are pretty bad, right? They're just over 1 in 3. They're 37.5% chance that you'll get the specific weapon that you want, rather than a 50% chance as with the character banners. So that is why I highly recommend against trying to go for the weapon banner, trying to go for any weapon on this banner, until you are pretty far into the game and have multiple 5-star characters. At that point, then I would wait for a banner where you have 2 good weapons. So this banner, for example, is kind of terrible because Kokomi's weapon is kind of good on nobody except her. And if you play her in a sort of support role, which I do recommend, then this isn't even her best weapon. Her best weapon is actually a 3-star catalyst called Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. And the reason that's the best weapon is because it gives a huge attack buff to the next character that switches in onto the field, which presumably will be your main damage dealer. But we're kind of getting off topic, so I digress. Actually, there isn't really much left to cover. I think we've basically got everything. So we went over how the standard banner works, which was pretty straightforward. We went over how the character event banners work, and as well as the weapon banner. Yeah, I think that's about it. Well, you know what? I might as well show you guys what it's like to get a 5-star, what the wishing animation looks like. It is a special animation, so 3 Acquaint Fates, and I'll just show you guys what it looks like. So here we go. Pretty nice animation. It does get old. So these are all... Oh, okay, so that's a 4-star bow. But yeah. Oh, and that's Sayu. Okay, this is a pretty good pull. So most of the items you get, they're going to be 3-star weapons. And then you're going to have some 4-star characters and weapons kind of mixed in. We'll just keep going until we get a 5-star. Magic Guide. Fischl. Okay, I do actually need Fischl. Yeah, so most of these pulls you're going to get one 4-star character or weapon and a bunch of 3-star weapons. That's kind of what's expected. So anything better than that is a bonus. So I just got Layla there, which is nice. I don't think I actually use her, but if I get a bunch of her constellations, so if I get multiple copies of her, she becomes better. So I might as well use her. And here's Sacrificial Greatsword, pretty solid weapon all around. It's not really the best weapon for any character, but it works well on pretty much every character. So it's good for new players. Slingshot. Slingshot, by the way, is a very decent 3-star bow. It has buttloads of crit rate, which is one of the best offensive stats in the game. And Yao Yao. She's actually really good for Dendro-focused teams. So she's a healer and has pretty good Dendro application. So another weapon to look out for, aside from, well, there's Debate Club. Favonius Warbow, pretty decent bow for support bow characters. But another, well, actually I mentioned this before, Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers, very good catalyst for support characters because, again, it provides a huge attack buff to the next character that you switch in. I think it goes up to like 48%. There's Layla again. And Emerald Orb is also decent. Yeah, this thing here. So it will provide you with... Oh, my bad. No, my bad. This isn't the one I was talking about. I was thinking of another catalyst. Oh, and there's our 5-star. So that's what the animation looks like for a 5-star. It's a golden shooting star instead of a purple or blue one. Skyward Blade. Okay, so we got a weapon. This is actually not bad for my case. I would have preferred one of the characters that I don't have already, but this is not bad. I could use this. I could use this. Skyward Blade is a pretty decent weapon as far as the weapons on the standard banner go. Oh, and this is the best 4-star catalyst in the game. The Witzith. So the reason is because it gives you a buttload of crit damage, which is, I would say, the second best offensive stat in the game on average. And then it has a pretty helpful buff here. So you can get either attack, damage bonus, or elemental mastery. The first two are usually a bit more useful, but they're all pretty sizable buffs, as you can see. Yeah, so that's what a 5-star, that's what getting a 5-star looks like, the Golden Comet. So that's what you want to look out for when you are pulling on these banners or making these wishes, whatever terminology you want to use. And here's Skyward Blade, which again is pretty decent. It's got energy recharge, decent base attack, tiny bonus to crit rate, and some pretty good movement and attack speed stats. So that's kind of nice. Nice all around. So yeah, the items on this banner, they're usually not as good as the ones, or the characters are, I would say, on average not as good as the limited time characters, and the weapons also are not as good as the limited time weapons. However, what I will say is that they're usually more universal. So the weapons you get from this banner, they'll kind of work on a variety of characters, whereas sometimes these weapons will only work, or at least only work well, on the characters they're designed for. So the donut here for Kokimi, and the bell here for the Wanderer. So these two. And I think that about wraps this up. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I would need to cover. So we went over the standard banner, the character banners, as well as the weapon banner. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, or if you think I missed something, if you have any thoughts to share, then make sure you leave a comment, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. But for now, I will see you folks in the next video while I enjoy my Skyward Blade.